Butterfly, Peaceful Sage here. We are continuing to work through the Palia quests, and today we are going to do the quest titled Hunting 101. It's one of your very early quests, so we are going to work through the 101 quests next here on my channel because those are important for you to learn early in the game. So we have hunting, bug catching, fishing, gardening, and cooking. So we're going to start with hunting 101 here in the video, and we are going to learn to hunt by hunting a choppa or a surnek. To hunt, select the bow from your tool wheel, aim it at your target, and fire an arrow. So we're going to do one of the following. We're going to hunt a choppa or hunt a surnek. And so first of all, you will have to have acquired your bow. And if you don't know how to do that, look back in the previous video that I did. For the, let's see, the quest name for acquiring your bow, it's under completed quest now, learning the ropes. So in learning the ropes, you get your bow and arrow, and you also get your equipment for bug catching, fishing, and gardening. So we have already completed that. You can check back on my channel, Peaceful Sage 847, and all of that is there. We are going to do the hunting. We've got our bow, and then the other thing you need to hunt with are arrows. So if you go into your backpack and click on this little arrow here, this shows the ammunition you have. So we have 20 makeshift arrows, and we have 20 smoke bombs that the NPCs already gifted us in a previous quest. So what I would like to do is first show you how to make arrows. So you're going to go over to craft items, and then again we're going to click on this little arrow icon, miscellaneous, and we can craft some arrows so we have more than 20, just because in the beginning you'll want to practice a lot. So you need to have sapwood and flint in order to make arrows. So in order to get sapwood, you get that from the trees. Chop a tree and loot, and you get sapwood. And then for the flint, you get that from the stones. So you use your pickaxe for that. Okay, and loot, and you get flint from that, as well as stone. Okay, Kenley is out front here, but we're just ignoring him because that is for a different quest, and I like to keep these videos just to one quest. So we are going to craft arrows, and I like to have a good stack. So 20, 40, 60, 80, and I think we already had 20, so that'll give us 100 arrows. So how to make those. All right, so now when we check our backpack and go under miscellaneous, we have 100 makeshift arrows. Right, I'm going to put this rock in my storage so that I don't run out of room in my backpack when I'm out running around in Kilima. And we are going to head to Kilima now and get moving with Hunting 101. And we're just waiting for the server. Sometimes it's a little slower than others. There we go. And we are going to hunt. Now you can typically find surnek and choppa around Kilima. Pretty much most places. So this server's really glitchy. Wow. Sorry about that. And I like to just kind of like come down here, and there's an open field over here to the right of the map. Let me show you. So we came out here from our home plot, and I'm right here. But where I'm going is just kind of over in this general direction. And one thing you can do when you are new to the maps and you're not sure where you're going, you can drop a pin on the map. It's called a waypoint. and then I click my middle mouse button to do that. And then now that will show up on my compass. So that is really helpful if you're new to Palia, new to the map. Well, welcome, and now you know how to drop a waypoint. All right. And you can hunt anywhere on the maps. The animals usually don't tend to come to like the center of the town, although I have seen them there, but usually they're kind of out in these more open areas. Okay. So when I'm hunting, I like to have my bow and arrow already out, and we're just looking for some chapa and some sarnak. So there's something. There's a chapa heading our way. And so you see, we just like aim and let go. You know, it's pretty basic function. I don't think too many people have trouble with it, but if you do, just keep practicing. You'll learn that mechanic pretty early on in the game. So we hunted our first chapa. We're going to loot that. We get chapa meat, fur. And now our quest says return to Hassian. So let's see. We're learning to hunt and we're returning to him. So we're going to find him on the map. He's over here. You see he has a quest marker on him. And I just dropped a pin on him because he's moving, so he'll be easier to find that way. Over the wall. We're almost there. So early in the game, Hassian likes to hang out kind of down these fields. And later in the game, you'll find him on other maps, but early game, you'll find him through here.
Speak your business.
Chat. He says, "Why have you returned? Did you think I would praise you for a job well done?" Also, in the beginning, Hassian kind of has an attitude, and as you learn more about him, you'll learn why. But underneath, he's a good guy, but he can seem kind of obnoxious at first, I'm not going to lie. It is every Palian's duty to help maintain the balance of nature. In the interest of perpetuating that balance, I am obligated to give you this. Chapas are not natural to the environment. They overpopulate and destroy natural wildlife and vegetation. So chapas are part of the lore of Palia. You'll learn more about them as we go. It is only right that you humans help before you too begin to run wild. You may leave me alone now. I'm sure any further contact can be conducted over mail. So we've completed the quest. That was a nice, easy quest.
A lot.
And because that didn't take very long, I am going to keep rolling here. And we've completed Hunting 101. And now we're going to keep rolling. I'm going to do Bug Catching 101. I think we can do all these 101s in one video because they're just short quests. So Bug Catching 101 is learn to catch bugs successfully. I cannot talk. Learn to catch bugs by successfully catching a butterfly or moth. To catch an insect, select the Bug Scout's belt on your tool wheel, aim it at the bug you wish to catch, and fire a smoke bomb. So we're either looking for a butterfly or a night moth. And the butterflies will be out in the daytime hours, and the night moths will be out in the nighttime hours. Okay, go ahead and pin that so we can keep track. And now I'm going to get out my Bug Scout bag. And since we're in the daytime hours, you can see we're going to catch a butterfly. All right. And when it sparkles like that, it's a star, which means you can display it. And then if it doesn't have a star, you can't display it. And I'll show you that when we come back. So here's Auni. Quite conveniently, we are supposed to return to him. And he is just jogging along here. We gotta catch him. Chat. Oops. Yeah.
Hiya.
Today is a great day for adventure. Well, any day is a great day for adventure. But today is especially good. So let's tell him I caught some bugs.
Oh.
Good job. I wish I had some kind of reward for you. How about this? Mom packed me too big a lunch and I couldn't finish. That's not really a great reward, huh? Oh yeah. I suggest you check your mail later. But the real reward is the fun you had learning to catch bugs, am I right? So Bug Catching 101 is complete.
Wow, was that a dragonfly?
Alright, so next up on our 101 quests, the guide is fishing. Okay, so learn the basics of fishing by catching a gillyfin. To go, oops, clicked on the wrong thing here. To go fishing, simply select the fishing rod on your tool wheel and cast your line in the water. Wait for the fish to bite and reel it in. Okay, so to fish, we have to find water, which is, you can open up the map, see where we're at, and there's a river over here, so let's just drop a pin here. You can also fish in this area, you can fish in here, in the river. Anywhere there's water of a certain depth, you can fish. So if the water is like shallow enough that you can walk through it without it like the game kind of like puts you back at the shore. If you go too deep, I'll show you. But if it's deep enough to do that, then you can fish. If it's so shallow that you can walk through, then you can't fish. So that's kind of an indicator there. Let's see what this says. Pick up an onion. Alright, so here's the water. And this is deep. But let me just show you what I was meaning. So if you walk into the water, and it does that, where it just jumps you back to the bank, then you can't cross through there. But if it's shallow, you can. So this is a good fishing spot. This is basically where we're going at with that. Also, around Kilima, you will see these little fishing signs. That's helpful for learning where you can fish. You can fish anywhere. You don't have to necessarily fish off this dock, but it's just kind of letting you know as a beginner where to find the fish. So we did our tool wheel. We got our fishing rod here. And in the beginning, you don't have worms or anything. You just have a hook. And we might acquire those later on. Fishing was the hardest mechanic for me to learn. So if you need to practice, it's okay. So on the third Badru, and then and you have to keep the fish within these green brackets. And we caught a rainbow trout. We're trying to catch a gillyfin for our quest. Actually, it said return to Einar. I noticed that right as I cast my thing. So maybe just any fish catches counts. I'll have to check. Oh, see, that's what happens. Fish can get away. But it's okay. That first fish actually looks like that counted. It says return to Einar. So, Einar, we're going to find him on the map. He's right over here. He likes to hang out the dock by Fisherman's Lagoon. That's usually where you can find Einar during the day. Okay. Mountain Morale. We always pick those as we go by because this is food. And it's a little bit hard in the beginning to keep up with your food consumption. Alright, so we can't cross here, but we can go around. Okay, here's Einar. This will complete our fishing 101
Salutations.
quest. I have crafted many adornments made from fishing implements. I find them quite aesthetically pleasing, but I do sometimes wonder if I am the only being who feels this way. What do you think of my adornments? So I think he's talking about these here. I'm just going to say they're very you. I have never made an adornment that resembles myself. Oh, you must mean my adornments express my individual traits and interests. Adornments as a form of expression. How novel. You should tell Gel the clothier of your invention. Perhaps he shall start creating adornments for the purpose of expression as well. So let's tell him I caught a fish. Congratulations. I hope you are able to experience the same joy as I derive during such events. However, my time with humans taught me your kind derives limited utility from living fish. Perhaps this is a more suitable reward for your efforts. I do hope you will choose to continue this wonderful activity in the future. In the meantime, if I find anything I believe will be of interest to you, I shall have it delivered to you via mail. Fishing 101 completed. All right.
I am not practiced in conversation closing rituals.
Okay. So, let's see what our next quest is. So we've completed fishing, bug catching, and hunting. And we have gardening 101. And we have cooking 101. So let's go back to the plot. Now you can travel across the map to your house. But every, I think it's every 10 minutes or so in real world time, you have this little quick button. My daughter, she plays Palia too, and she calls it the teleport button. And this will just take you back to your housing plot right away. So we're going to do that instead of crossing the whole map. And then we have to be on the housing plot to finish those other two quests. All right, so for gardening, we already planted our seeds. So that was part of that last quest we did. So planting the seeds was part of learning the ropes. And now for gardening 101, they want us to harvest a carrot and harvest a tomato. So we already have those planted. And what we need to do is water them. So we're going to get our watering can out. And where you see this kind of clear thing and then it fills up with the blue, that's giving the plant water. And the plants don't grow right away, so you have to keep watering them. And then we'll be able to harvest, hopefully by the end of this video. So we did that, and then we will do eat a grilled mushroom to gain focus. So we need to get some mushrooms. We have one, but let's see, to grill, we're gonna go here. We need 3. So I actually have a couple in my inventory, but let's just show you where to get those. Sometimes they're out along the side of your plot here. I don't see any right now, but typically you'd find some through here. Or you can go back into Kilma. Okay, here's one. And the other place that you will find mushrooms is if you go back into Kilma, and then just forage around the map, and you can find mushrooms there. So in case you like found mushrooms earlier, but then you already ate them, this is how to find them. Die! Ah! Ah, indeed. Okay, so mushrooms just kind of grow on the map. It's quite random. So you can just kind of wander around. They won't grow in town, so you have to be kind of out of the town. Just kind of look around. And you'll find there's a lot of foraging. So sundrop lilies, they are used to make your smoke bombs, so I always pick them up. Okay. And here is a mountain morel. Okay, so you get the idea that you just forage for them, and it'll get to be just normal. You won't really think much about just picking these up as you go. Ah, a chopper. Okay, we'll head back home and grill our mushroom. Okay, we're gonna ignore Auni. Sorry, dude. We are on a different quest. He's gonna give us a new quest. Alright, so we're gonna click grill. And then just click make. Okay. It just takes a few seconds for the mushrooms to grow. Okay, so while that is grilling, let me explain focus. Focus is here, and it's also up. I can't use my mouse to point because it's navigation. But in the top left of my screen, you see that pink bar that looks just like this. And focus, you increase focus by eating. When you earn experience, some of your focus is used to increase the total experience earned. So experience is how you level up in the game. It's how you increase your skill levels. It's how you increase your overall level. And it's important if you want to progress. If there's trophies as you increase your skill levels. There's things you'll want in the game. So while technically you can play the game with your focus at empty, I wouldn't recommend it because you're not going to level up. So what you need to do from time to time is eat to fill up your focus bar. And that is what the game is teaching us now with Cooking 101. Right, we're going to collect this. And it went into our inventory. You can see it here. And now there's two ways to eat. You can go into the inventory and right-click and eat. Or just have it in your backpack. And on keyboard, you just click the number of it and click. So we're going to click. And yay, 50 focus and updated quest Cooking 101. All right, so next What does Cooking 101 want us to do? Eating filled up your focus bar. When your focus bar is full, you gain bonus experience points for doing any skill. Gaining bonus experience uses up some focus. So they want us to use 25 focus. It's just kind of like showing you the game mechanic. So you use focus simply by doing things in the game. So I'm just going to go over here and kind of just do some cleanup. There's a mushroom. So I'm going to grab that. I'm going to chop some trees. Oh, I got a bow camper. Interesting. So we've used 5 of 25 focus. Let's see how our garden is doing. Okay, so it is still just growing. The plants are there. So we're waiting on that harvest a carrot and harvest a tomato. That's okay. We can work on Cooking 101 in the meantime. This debris so I can get my front step. Okay, mining is level 2. Let's just get this out of the way. Okay, so Cooking 101, we've used focus. Eating filled up your focus bar. When you're focused, okay, yeah, that's just repeating the quest. Now we return to Reth. So Reth is back in town. Now let's find Reth so we can see him up here on the bar, mingled with somebody else. Map. Okay, we have other people that want to talk to us, but right now we're looking for Reth. And there he is. And here, he's in Gel's shop. Reth and Tish and Gel are NPCs, and they are all buddies. So we're just going to talk to Reth right now.
What's up?
Got anything interesting to tell me? I grilled some mushrooms.
Oh,
Nice work. A bit more practice and you'll be making your own soup soon enough. But hey, I wouldn't mind if you kept stopping by for mine. In fact, here's a free sample. Reth's veggie soup. It's on the house. Okay.
uh-oh, my soup's burning.
Alright, we completed Cooking 101, Fishing 101, Bug Catching 101, Hunting 101. And we just have Gardening 101. to complete, and our inventory is full. So, Reth gave us some soup. We can eat that. And that nearly filled up our focus bar. So let's head back and see how our veggies are doing. And now, because I recently used the teleport button, oh, okay, so it's available in 17 minutes and 7 seconds. I think that counter is new. I don't remember seeing that before, so that's pretty cool. So we're just going to have to walk, and that's okay too. And we're going back to this house icon. So that's where the gate is to take us into our plot. All right. We have a different quest popping up, but I'm going to actually pause that. And we're just focusing on finishing up Gardening 101. Okay. So what happens? The plants grow with the in-game time. So I think it might be 6 a.m. that they will complete growing. So I am just going to wait, and then I'll do a second video and just splice it onto this, because I don't want you to have to wait in real world time for these plants to grow. So I will splice the next video in. Okay, so I waited around, I did some cleaning up on my plot, and now I'll just splice this in. So you will view this as one video, but just know that in-game time went by. So if you can see, I don't know, it's real tiny. Up in the top right hand of my screen, you can see it's now 7:07 a.m. in-game time. So in-game, there is a timer. I think it's about 1 hour in real life time to a full in-game day, which is why I didn't want you to wait around. And so now for Gardening 101, we want to harvest a carrot, harvest a tomato, and we had to wait till 6 a.m. when these carrots ripen. So at 6 a.m. in-game time is when your garden refreshes itself. And we can harvest our carrots. So we harvest some carrots. And now you will see this little watering icon. I missed watering one of my carrots, so I'm going to go ahead and water that. And then for the tomatoes, I'm supposed to harvest a tomato for Gardening 101. And tomatoes take longer to grow than the carrots. So that's why they are not ready yet. So we will need to let another in-game day go by and then check on our tomatoes again. So I'm going to go ahead and keep playing with my character, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to splice that in at the next in-game day. Okay, so here we are on the next in-game day. We're clocking in at 8:30. And so we will see that the carrot has grown. So the carrot just takes like one in-game day, looks like, as long as you water it. But the tomatoes are still growing, so they want to be watered again. And we're going to do that. And if you're thinking like this 101 quest is taking forever, well, it's just a few in-game days, and you'll be doing other things in the meantime. So you can see in the meantime, I've cleaned up my plot. I've cleaned off the shrubs and the trees and the rocks. So I have this nice open area once I start building and decorating. So you can work on things like that. And I've just kind of started to clean up around here. And I thought of one thing that I didn't show you earlier that you might want to know for these 101 quests. So I can show you that in this section of the video. So we already completed bug hunting 101, but I didn't show you how to make the smoke bombs. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. You're going to go over to your workbench and you're going to go to miscellaneous. And right now you just have the standard smoke bomb recipe. And you need 2 things for your smoke bombs. So we completed our 101 quest with the smoke bombs that Auni gave us, but maybe you've never played this type of game before, or you just need more smoke bombs, and you will need more smoke bombs as you go along. So I just wanted to show you this. Like how I showed you the arrows earlier, now I'm going to show you how to make the smoke bombs. So it takes clay, which we haven't gathered yet. I'll show you exactly where to go to get that. And it also takes the sundrop lilies, which we have gathered some already in our gameplay, but we'll likely see some of those on the way to gather the clay. So we are waiting on our tomatoes to grow, but we can make some smoke bombs while we wait. We're going to head back into Kilima, and we are going to get the clay and some extra sundrop lilies and make smoke bombs for catching bugs. So the smoke bombs take those 2 materials, and the clay is really only one area in game. So I'm going to show you on the map, and then you can have that context of where we're going here. So we're coming out from our house, and you typically find clay anywhere from the coast of Fisherman's Lagoon all along Remembrance Beach up to Gillyfin Cove. So really, if you're looking for clay, you're just going to want to come to one end or the other of the coast and just kind of travel along there. So that's what we're going to do. Oops, we get ourselves stuck. Okay, we're just going to kind of go angle down here on the map to the far side of the map. And from there we'll gather some clay. Start at either end, it doesn't really matter, but this is just what we're doing now. Okay, remember what I mentioned with the water earlier? So this water you can just cross over, but you cannot fish in it. And let me show you what happens. It just turns red because it says there's no fishing this water. So that's another bonus tip for your fishing 101 as well. There's an NPC. We'll meet her later. Alright, as we're going to gather the clay, we're coming across some sundrop lilies, so we're going to gather those. There's a choppa, but we're not going to get distracted with hunting choppas. We can do that later. Because remember, we learned how to already in this video. There's another sundrop lily. And I like to go along this coastline here. And gather this sundrop lily. And now here's what the clay looks like. It's kind of reddish brown. And this one is flashing. That means another player has already tapped that. So when someone has tapped it and looted it, it has 3 minutes and then it will flash and disappear, and then the game will respawn it again later. But that's what it means if you come up and something is flashing, or even if it just disappears and it'll come back. The game always respawns it. So we are going along here. Now along here you can't get here because there's water there. That's why I'm running along the top of the cliffs, but there is typically some clay down here. So I want to gather that. Again, it's splashing. Some other player is also making smoke bombs, most likely. There are other things that you can make out of clay. And we got quartz. So that is a special stone. Like a little bonus. Okay, so you can see we have 19 clay so far. We'll just keep going along the coast here. There we go. Alright. That'll be enough to make a few smoke bombs, I think. So let's see. I did do my quick travel recently, although actually it just came back. How lucky. Great, we're gonna head back to the housing plot and we'll make those smoke bombs together while we're waiting for our tomatoes to grow. Go. Auni's still waiting for us. That's okay. And sure, my character went. That's okay. Oh, yeah, there she is. And let's craft some smoke bombs. Miscellaneous, standard smoke bomb. See, now it says ready to craft. That means you have all the materials. So let's go ahead and just make as many as we can. Let's see how many we can make. Actually, maybe we don't want to get too far ahead. Let's make 5. Because it makes 20. That'll give us a good stack. Alright, so we made 100 smoke bombs. And you might wonder when you make the smoke bombs and you make the arrows, like, where did it go? But it always goes over here. You have an ammo pack, basically. So we've got our arrows that we made earlier, and now we have 100 smoke bombs. Alright. So since our tomatoes are still growing, I am going to just wait another in-game day. And then we'll see if the tomatoes are ready. It does look like they're progressing. We have little green tomatoes, so maybe tomorrow in-game will be the lucky day. We'll see. Okay, Butterfly. Here we are. We let another in-game day go by, so I did look it up. It is 4 in-game days from the time you first plant a tomato seed, keep watering it until harvest. And then we're going to go ahead and harvest for Gardening 101, finish up that quest. So we're going to harvest this, harvest this. Now this is pretty cool because the carrots are just one and done, but the tomatoes, we do have to wait for them, but they give you multiple harvests without needing to get a new seed. So I think it'll be another couple of in-game days of watering, and then we'll get another harvest off of the tomato plant. So that's pretty cool. And now we have our tomatoes and our carrots. And our quest is wrapping up. So we are finishing up Gardening 101. And now our instruction is to return to Badru. So remember, we'll find Badru over here in the Kilima map. And I think once we turn this in, I think this will wrap up the quest. But let's see. He might have something else for us. So let's check this out. Okay, so we are going to locate Badru on our map. Looks like he's over here at his farm. He likes to hang out there. And usually find Badru around his farm. He does sometimes come into the center of town and hang out there, but just maybe once or twice a day. It's not very frequent. Just heading across the map to the farm. Nice water, we can cross that there. Then when you come to a hill like this, you can climb up it. Spice sprouts. Alright, this is Badru's farm. Now we're gonna find him. There's his wife, Palia. We'll meet her later on. We'll find Badru over here. Somewhere. There he is. Well, let's chat with Badru.
Well, howdy, Sproutling.
He says, if you keep visiting this often, I'll have to start calling you my best buddy. And let's see, I grew some crops. Well, I'll be. Those look mighty delicious. Have this. I can't wait to see what you'll grow next. Ha, that worked a lot better this time. And he gave us some wheat seed. Alright. And that wrapped up that quest. So, we have wrapped up all of the 101 guide tasks. So we did gardening, cooking, fishing, bug catching, and hunting. All in this video. Thanks for sticking with me. It took quite some patience to grow those tomatoes, but it was worth it. And now you have a really good grasp on the basics for the game. And super proud of you for getting through this. So thanks for watching. Be sure to follow my channel if you haven't yet. Peaceful Sage 847. And I will continue doing tutorial videos. So we'll be seeing more of you. Talk to you later. Bye.